Muy bien, vamos a empezar. Ok, hoy es, perdón, buenos días, buenos días. Y ya, el cerebro está funcionando. My brain is working through. Ok, ah, buenos días y bienvenidos y bienvenidas. Espero que ustedes estén bien. I hope you guys are well. Um, I will ask you for a little extra patience with me today. ¿Sí? Un poquito más de paciencia conmigo, with me, hoy. ¿Por qué? Porque tengo una computadora nueva.
Ah,
Tengo una computadora nueva. No voy a contarles. I am not going to tell you the long story. Es una historia larga. It is a long story. No quieren saber. You don't want to know. No, ustedes no quieren saber toda la historia muy larga. Um, but for security reasons, because of my husband's system, I had to switch from a Windows to Linux.
Yeah.
ooh.
Eso me estresó mucho. This stressed me a lot. I have spent probably 8 to 10 hours last week setting up the computer and setting. What this means for us is that Zoom is going to possibly look a little different today. So I know we have a number of people who are out today because they're on the road or busy with other things and they are watching later. So if you are a student watching this later on YouTube, and if you had difficulties viewing, uh, please let me know. And please do know part of our work today is going to be working through some things. The the bad news of that for you guys, sadly, is that my breakout rooms will work, but I will not be able to send notes for you to see in the breakout rooms.
Okay.
This is a function that is not working with the Linux version of Zoom right now. I have put in an emergency request, which oddly enough, Zoom responded to me this morning after a request yesterday that they are going to look at it. However, it could be 30 days till they really look at it. In any event, we're going to have a number of steps which may feel cumbersome to some of you in order for you to see notes during breakout rooms. So this is going to be a little bit of an experimental day. You will be able to watch videos with me, same as always. That will not look different. But um, uh, I probably went through about 4 hours of test runs on Zoom with family members this weekend. And you know, one version would work a little better, but I still had a feature missing. Another version had the missing feature, but it was missing something else. It was a mess. Okay, there's the end of my story. Entonces, paciencia. So patience, please. And I'm sorry that that feature isn't going to work. It may take a while for me to find a workaround. I spent most of my weekend trying to find a workaround for us, but I was not, to my satisfaction, I was not as successful as I wanted to be. Okay. So what I want to ask everybody to do right now before we go into the many instructions of how to see notes during a breakout room is, magnifico. We got somebody joining late. I will need everybody to turn on their chat box. This is a must. Uh, oh, Chat box is one of the icons at the bottom. Oh, if you're on an iPad, it may not happen. I don't know. You're on an iPad, Cindy.
Yes.
¿Verdad?
Yeah.
Okay. Cindy, you're going to be one of the people who will be a kind of a guinea pig for me. You
Love to
probably,
be a guinea pig.
yeah. Well, you'll be a guinea pig just sticking with me instead of going into a breakout room.
Okay,
Yep.
there is a thing here that has a person in a square. Might that be it? I'm gonna hit,
There should be controls now. Normally in my computers, they have been in a bottom band at the bottom of the
Yeah.
Zoom screen, but on a tablet, it may look different. And I know the tablet experience is different than the computer experience.
I'm
I'm
gonna go
checking,
with a pair of
I'm
glasses.
checking on my iPad right now for you, Cindy.
But there should be something that says just chat.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
if everybody found that, if you have if
Yep.
you found the little icon that says
Yeah.
chat, and it looks like a cartoon speech bubble, just make sure that is turned on because that will be part of our process. And that is step number 1. And again, you don't want to know why. Anyway, okay.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah, see.
I have a question.
See,
So
Karen.
I see the chat at the bottom,
See,
and how do I turn it on? I just
you
click it?
just
Look on it.
click on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything different. I mean,
On the
Double
right
click on
side,
it. It,
You
it
should be
does.
able
It
to
opens
see
it up.
a panel on the side, and it won't
Right
be
side.
populated with any information now. Okay, we
Ooh.
got Pam coming in, so I'm going to have to repeat this again. As I
Okay.
said,
okay.
it'll be
sorry.
kind of a little extra level of patience today. You
Marilyn,
should be able to click on the little icon that says chat, and a little strip should appear.
Yep,
And
on the right side.
messages can be sent on the chat, just so that you know
Hola.
what chat does.
Hola, amigos.
Hola.
Hola.
Marilyn,
Yes, see.
this is for Cindy. Cindy,
Yes.
on your iPad window, up in the upper right-hand corner,
Yes.
there should be a circle with 3 little dots.
Yes, I have that.
If you click on that, chat should be your first option.
Oh, it is. Okay.
There you go. The
There you
tablet
go.
looks different than a
Then-
desktop. Thank you.
Computer
Gracias.
genius.
Then something comes up that says Spanish step 1.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Hola, amigos. So
Yep.
does that just come and go?
Now
Stays
you can
there.
type
See,
something. put it
Usha,
right.
gracias, Usha. You sent a message and you see if you have the
Yeah.
chat box up,
Yes.
you see it. And I had
Otherwise,
another-
you'll see a little number, like the number of chats that have been
Yeah.
sent.
Right.
they'll
so
pop
like-
up like little bubbles like texts on a phone.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got meeting group chat. Do I have to close this to get it off of my screen, or what do you do with it?
Ooh,
Give it up.
on a
Yeah,
tab.
you have to close it to get off if you don't want it on in front on your
Ooh,
screen.
okay.
But
Okay,
you'll
it's
still
off.
see the numbers.
People,
yeah.
okay. I'm just going to say, if you are on a tablet, it may be that it is easier for you to stay with me and not go into a breakout room. And we're probably going to have abbreviated breakout room because of that today. But I do need to see if I can make this work.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you, if it does not work, I will be the first to just say I have to abandon that little idea and develop a different plan. But once again, for the 1 or 2 people who are joining late, make sure you have your chat option turned on Zoom, that you find the little again, the cartoon speech bubble that says chat, and click on that so that the chat box comes up. Okay. We're going to use that later. What's going to happen is, para que sepan, so you know, I am going to wind up sending links and instructions in the chat box. And I will need to see how many of you are able to follow that. So I apologize for the kind of experimental nature of today, but after 8 hours of working on this, that's the best I can do for today. I will get better. Sadly, I'm very sad that I'm missing that feature, but I am. See, Cindy.
Okay, I found that and got onto it, and then I closed it. So should it be on the icons at the top? Should it be on all the time? I'm not
Well, I am able to keep it on all the time, but maybe you won't be able to keep it on all the time. But oh yeah.
So.
Well, you know what, Cindy? Don't worry about it. Don't you worry about it if you can't
Yeah,
find
but
it. You'll
can I
stay
make a
with me.
statement? If Cindy goes to her little three dots in the upper right-hand corner and clicks on that again, it'll come back up. It should come back up.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it does. But what does it come up if Marilyn writes a message to me or
So
as the group, or what does it do? Where's it? It went away. It closed.
It's
Right.
minimized.
It's
It's
not
not closed.
when
It's not
you,
closed. It's minimized.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Cindy,
minimized in the background.
I'm going to say right now, you may want to just not follow those directions
Okay.
and stay with me.
Okay.
I think that'll be the
I'm-
easiest for right now.
I'm staying with you.
Yeah.
can I say though, it should, in any time someone sends a message through chat to you, there should be a number attached to those three dots. So
Okay.
there'll be a little red 1 or a little red 2.
Okay.
Ah, yes.
So that's where you would see if someone chatted you.
Okay.
That's
Got it.
what happens on my iPad. Right now I'm using my laptop, but when I use my iPad, that's what happens.
Okay.
Okay. Vale. Bien.
Bien.
Okay. Está bien. So we're going to use that a little bit later. We're going to try to use it. We'll see how how it goes. Okay, pero hoy vamos a empezar con algo. This part we'll share with everybody, A-okay, because it's not chat rooms. It's just everything. Ustedes escucharon este video. You guys listened to this video this week, right? ¿Sí?
Yes.
¿Correcto?
Correct.
Okay.
Correcto.
Primero, para repasar, to review. ¿Hay alguna pregunta del video? Is there any question you had on this video? Anything you did not understand what she used? The main thing was she was repeating a lot of ponerse, that reflexive verb.
Hmm.
We're going to have a little lesson about reflexive verbs, and we're going to talk about when you use them, when you don't, and we're going to actually put that into practice, we hope, with the breakout rooms. See? ¿Alguna pregunta? Any question about this gal's video? What she puts on to go running? Sí or no? No?
No.
No.
Okay. That was designed to be a nice short video that was easy to understand. Okay, fácil de entender, but putting it in practice. And you'll notice, or you probably did notice, that she had a lot of situations where she would say something like, cuando corro, when I run. When I run does not have a reflexive verb because correr, to run, is not an action that somebody receives. It's just what you do, right? So
Trying to pick up here.
whenever we speak, you're never going to hear somebody speaking only with reflexive verbs or only without them. It's always going to be a combination, some of them mixed in. That is the way it goes. So we want to get kind of familiar with this idea of when you will hear reflexive verbs, which ones you're likely to hear, and then putting that into practice a little bit, okay? And so, cuando corro, me pongo una gorra. When I run, I put on a cap. So I run is not reflexive. Cuando corro, when I run, me pongo una gorra. I put on a hat. And the ponerse is reflexive. Correr, to run, is not reflexive. So I just conjugate it. No pronoun, just corro, right? Or if I say we run, corremos, right? No pronoun with it, just the verb by itself. But I put on a cap is me pongo una gorra. I put on a hat because when I do that action of putting it, I'm putting it on my body. And whether it's putting sunscreen on my body or a cap on my body or shoes on my body, on myself, that particular kind of activity has to be reflexive. And that means it cannot be just the verb pongo. It's got to be a yo kind of pronoun that matches up with the yo kind of verb, right? Not just pongo. Pongo means I'm putting something, but I'm setting something down, como mi celular. Pongo mi celular en el escritorio. I put my cell phone on the desk. That's not reflexive. Pero me pongo los audífonos. I put on my headphones. That's something that goes on my body, and that has to be me pongo, because I am doing the action of poner, placing something, setting it down. But where I'm placing it is on myself. So I am both doing the action and I am receiving. I'm on the end, receiving end of that action too. ¿Entienden?
Yep.
Sí,
Yeah.
Usha.
I just made one sentence and I want to practice with you to tell me if this is correct or not.
Magnífico.
Cuando corran ayer, yo olvido mi gorra.
Oh, olvido, I forgot.
Sí.
Okay. Es posible. Sí, okay. And I have a little reaction on that because olvidarse can be reflexive. Me olvido de mi gorra. Me olvido. ¿Sí?
Oh, me olvido.
Me olvido. There is another way. That is kind of a special verb, Usha. Es interesante. It's interesting because that verb is usually used in the past and it won't have that o ending all the time. Well, in this case, it will. Okay, you're going to hear how. Instead of olvido, it's going to be sound like this. Olvido, with a punch on the o. The way somebody will usually express this idea of I forgot my cap. And isn't that action something that you say, oh, how could I have done that? Oh my gosh, right? It hits you all of a sudden. And I didn't mean to do that on purpose. Oh, how could this happen? I didn't intend for this to happen. It's going to usually be voiced this way. Ah, the me still comes in. Se me olvidó. I forgot about it. In Spanish, that verb olvidarse, to forget, and a few other little verbs in Spanish have a special form when it's an oops action. Yeah. So an oops action, meaning I didn't mean to forget it, but it just happened. Yeah. Is se me olvidó. Se me olvidó. I forgot it. Just so you know. But another oops kind of verb that'll do that. But notice it's weird. It's like se me olvidó. Literally in Spanish, for the oops kind of actions, and I'll give you a couple of examples. These are what they call unintentional. And what they're saying to you in Spanish is, not my fault. I can't help it. It happened to me. So what they're really saying is, it happened to me, but I didn't mean for it to happen to me. It was an oops. It was an accident. So, se me olvidó, but we have to punch the o at the end. Se me olvidó. I forgot them. Literally, you're saying it went and forgot itself on me. Just kind of it's a weird, conceptually, it's weird.
Yes.
Here's another verb that you might hear people saying that way. When somebody says, I broke something, they dropped it. Butterfingers, as we say in English. Oh no, and this is the ultimate oops of you break something. Okay. Breaking something like I'm angry and I'm going to break this. That's romper, intentional. By God, I'm going to break this. I'm going to crush this thing. Okay. But most of our break things are oops, aren't they?
Yes.
So
Me.
the way you're going to hear people say that, because it's an oops kind of accidental verb, is not just with a me, but a se me. Se me rompió. Se me rompió. Literally, they say in Spanish, it went and broke itself on me. I didn't mean to do it. It was an oops. Just like when you forget something, you don't mean to forget it. You get out of the door and say, oh no, how could this happen? How could I have done this? Yeah, some verbs, but not all, but some will do that. Another example of an oops verb is that does the same kind of structure is when you run out of something in your fridge. I ran out of coffee. Oh no, people are coming over in 10 minutes. I ran out of coffee. Okay. Now, when you think in English, ran out is literally running, right? Does that make any sense even in English? No, it doesn't.
No.
But in Spanish, you went and say, it went and finished itself on me. Oh, no, I didn't mean for it to. And it'll be a se me. Se me. Se me acabó. Acabó. Acabar is to finish or to end something. Se me acabó. It went and finished itself on me, meaning I got no more. I've got no more of whatever that. Se me acabó el café. Se me acabó la leche. Se me acabó el cereal. Se me acabó la cerveza. I ran out of beer, the biggest sin of all. Se me acabó la cerveza. Wow, I ran out of beer. So just know some kind of activities in Spanish, oopses, like forgot, that Usha brought up with us. And it was nice that you brought up that little funny example. They get a special, different kind of structure, and those sound different than what we're going to use today. Para que sepan, just so you know, okay?
But did I do the sentence correctly? The beginning, cuando corren ayer?
Sí, cuando corro, when I run. Cuando corro, or cuando corremos, when we run.
So I thought cuando corren was an at the end was for the past.
Well, okay, for past, that's when they ran.
Yesterday, ayer.
Yesterday. Cuando corrieron. It's a different kind of ending. Cuando corrieron. When they ran. And you know what? So you can all see what the chat box looks like. I'm going to show you what run in present right now is corren. Yeah. But ran for the past to say that it happened. Yeah. And it's not happening anymore is a different kind of conjugation. And it will sound, and it's much longer. It will sound like this. Run right now, or their habit, what they always do every day is corren, corren. Just a regular ER verb, yeah? Corren. But ran, like yesterday, is they ran, corrieron, corrieron. See? Corrieron. Bien? Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Because past gets different kinds of conjugations than the present that we've been looking at, just so that you know that.
Thank you.
See, okay, Cindy.
I'm having a hard time hearing this. When we say I ran out of, se me acabó.
See, okay.
Acabó.
I'll write that again in the chat box. You can see how the chat
Acabó.
box works. See, okay.
Yeah.
Se me acabó. Se me acabó
ACAB.
la cerveza.
Mhm.
Se me acabó la cerveza. The se me is a special little combination.
Mhm.
It's kind of reflexive, but it's got that extra se thing in there. It's got two pronouns instead of one. It's a weird
Yeah.
thing. It's only for oops kind of verbs,
Mhm.
not for all verbs, a very select kind of things. Se me acabó la cerveza. I ran out of beer. The beer finished itself on me. Oops, it ran out. The beer did not sprout legs and literally physically run, right? We all know that. It's an expression in English that you run out of something. Yeah. Okay. Bien. Vale.
I got the message.
Okay.
So if I go, yeah, I got,
Perfecto.
so I
Perfecto.
have to go in
Good.
each time to see what the message is.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
A ver. Bueno, let's move on. Let's take a look again at these reflexives and what they do. I'm going to show you pueden ver. You guys can see my screen, right? This is the little, actually, it's not a very little file. It's a big file. And it shows you what happens with these reflexives. Instead of just using corro, I run, or manejo, I drive, or cocino, I cook, and of course, that can be in any conjugation. It could be cocinamos, we are cooking, or we usually cook, right? It can be cocinas, cuando cocinas, when you cook, when you usually cook. It can, and the conjugation of the verb either tells us that it is happening right now, that's the job of presente, or to talk about what your general everyday habit is, all right? Things that you repeatedly do every single day, and talking about them in that present idea. Those use present tense. And we generally don't use a pronoun with those, okay? But reflexives will use these pronouns, and it will be necessary to always pair a reflexive verb with the pronoun. So now the tricky thing about pronouns is that there are different ways that pronouns are used. So our first step is to know what are those pronouns if it is a reflexive verb, right? If it is a reflexive verb, these are the pronouns you will be using. Me always has to pair up with a yo kind of verb. And we cannot skip the me, okay? For a reflexive meaning. Te will always pair up with a tu kind of conjugation verb. Yeah. So in other words, the pronoun is in the same kind of form as that conjugation is, right? Se works for both talking about, not to, but about one person. Se also works for talking about a group of people. So it's both singular, singular, and plural, plural. But it's not, se is not talking about me. It's not talking about you. It's talking about somebody else. So se with a third person singular verb, se with a third person plural verb. So se does double duty. It has a double job in reflexive verbs, right? To talk about what we do for a reflexive verb, we need to pair it up with nos, always with a nosotros kind of verb. So when you hear these pronouns, me, te, se, and nos, os is only used in Spain for the plural of tu. So we don't use it in Latin America, okay? We won't practice that. You'll hear it from time to time when a Spaniard talks. Se, te, me, te, se, and nos. When those match up with a paired up kind of verb, meaning they're in the same form, they're incompatible, kind of forms, right? You know that that's a reflexive verb. Okay, you know, and we cannot skip these pronouns. It'll be a me pairing up with a yo verb, a te pairing up with a tu verb, a se pairing up with a verb in that él, ella, usted form. A se again can be paired up with ellos, ellas, ustedes forms, and the nos will pair up with a nosotros verb. That's always the way they're going to work together. Okay. Magnifico. Okay. This again shows you how the meaning changes versus using it with no pronoun and verbs that may be the same verb, but they can be used as a reflexive. Okay? It shows you the difference in meaning. Mover means to move something, like your furniture, like boxes in your attic or shed. Okay, you move something around. I'm doing the moving, but I'm moving an object. That's mover, right? But moverse, making it reflexive, means I am moving a part of my body. Yeah. It can be my whole body. Yeah. If you are looking at some guy or girl on the dance floor and you think woo woo woo, want to ask that person out for a date, yeah, the person could say to you theoretically, woo, te mueves muy bien. They mean you move your body, you shake your booty really nice, yeah. Te mueves muy bien cuando bailas. You move really, your body parts move around real nice when you dance, yeah. You're a good dancer. They're complimenting you. You're good. Te mueves muy bien. Yeah, te mueves muy bien cuando bailas. The bailas doesn't use a pronoun, but the te mueves does use a pronoun. It means you're moving your body. Me muevo. You go into the doctor and you want to tell them it hurts when I move my shoulder, right? You're not talking about somebody else picking up your shoulder and I don't know. What's that thing when they when you dislocate something and they pop it back in? That would be mover. But, doctor, no me muevo muy bien el hombro. No me muevo muy bien el hombro. I can't move my shoulders so well. Okay? Es la diferencia. That's the difference on a really basic level between how we use a reflexive. So the meaning is a little bit different, yeah, with the reflexive versus the meaning of the verb that is not reflexive, no pronoun used with it. Okay, bien?
When we say somebody that you dance really well, would we say usted bailas muy bien?
Bailas muy bien.
¿Sí?
Bailas muy bien, ¿sí?
Bailas muy bien.
¿Sí? Sí. Te mueves como un profesional. You move like a professional dancer. Te mueves como como un profesional o una persona profesional. ¿Sí? Bailas muy bien. Ok, bien. Vale. Now, are we good so far? ¿Sí?
Yes.
Okay. So on a very basic level, that's different. So what we want to illustrate, what I want to illustrate with this is that a verb that is not reflexive will need no pronoun. A verb that is reflexive will need a pronoun. But even though the verb itself looks like the same verb, mover, in all its different forms, using a pronoun in front of it puts it into a special category with a special meaning. Generally, it means the person who does the action receives the action. Now, not cuidado, careful. Not all reflexive verbs, 100%, will carry that meaning of I do the action and I receive the action. Some verbs just are reflexive and you have to accept that's the way they're used. But we'll worry about those later, okay? These are some simple ones. And here's one of the simplest ones where it's easy, again, for me to show you how it is different used by itself, lavar, versus using it as a reflexive, lavarse, right? Lavar is a very regular verb, so it'll conjugate like all AR verbs. Lavo, yo lavo, tú lavas, ella lava, él lava, lavamos, nosotros lavamos, ellos lavan, ustedes lavan, okay? That conjugation will be like what you expect it to be for any old AR verb. It's a very regular verb. But lavo el carro, I'm washing the car. O, por ejemplo, mi hijo, my son, mi hijo lava la ropa los lunes. My son washes clothes on Mondays. That's his routine. See? Mi hijo lava la ropa, washes clothing, los lunes, on Mondays. Okay? I'm talking el hábito. I'm talking about his habit. But I'm washing the clothing. I'm washing a car. Okay? See? It is a very different meaning with lavar when it becomes lavarse. Me lavo las manos is I am washing a part of my body. Las manos. Me lavo. No one will ever say lavo las manos. That's washing somebody else's hands. Like maybe a toddler that doesn't know or doesn't want to wash their hands. Mommy has to wash baby's hands, yeah. But me lavo, I wash them myself. So that is why it's important to know when we need a reflexive verb that we change the meaning ever so slightly. If we omit that pronoun, it's going to become very, very important, right? Another verb that's easy to understand with reflexive versus not is this verb llamarse. Llamar is to call, like on the phone, or like this, you yell out for somebody, yeah? See? Llamo a los niños. I call the kids. Llamo a los niños, right? Llamo a mi hermana. Llamo a mi hermana por teléfono. I call. I'm just calling. But when I'm talking about what my name is, identifying myself, it has to become me llamo. My name is. Ella se llama. Her name is. Ellos se llaman. Los Jones. They're called, their name is the Joneses, the people next door. See? ¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name? How do you call yourself? Literally, that's the way they think about it. Okay, bien. You saw the poner in your video, and the opposite of that is going to be quitarse, to take clothing off, because as we put clothing on, sometimes we also have to take it off. Okay. ¿Todo bien? All good so far?
Yeah.
See? Okay. Now, the uncomfortable thing is sometimes we just need to know, or gradually, this won't happen all at once. Gradually, you just need to get comfortable with, certain of these verbs, they are just reflexive. And you need to hear enough examples of them that it makes sense, that you start to get used to the combination of using that pronoun with the verb. So it's uncomfortable for a while, but realistically, people are going to mix these reflexive verbs with other verbs that are not reflexive. So, you kind of have to juggle your brain between when do I use it and when don't I use it. Bien? See? Okay. So, in a nutshell, the easiest way to explain that is a person does the action, they also receive the action, and the receiving action are those little pronouns of the me, te, se, and nos. Yeah. All right. But do also keep in mind they will not follow that idea of I do the action and I also receive the action. That will not be a religiously 100%. Some verbs just are reflexive. They will not, if you try to translate literally, they won't make sense. Yeah.
Good.
And you just have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable with that for a while until you hear enough examples. See? Bien? So keep that in mind. Here is an example of some things that are reflexive, but I can't really, but they're not reflexive with the idea of I do it and I receive the action. The action of to complain about is quejarse, a reflexive. Now, when I complain, I don't receive the nasty anger thing, yeah? I'm giving it out to the person in customer service or wherever, or somebody in my family I'm complaining to. They would know what my family would know what that means after this weekend. All right. So it doesn't sound like quejarse should be a reflexive because I do the action, but I'm not on the receiving end when I complain. But you just have to be comfortable with that idea of quejarse just is reflexive. You have to get just comfortable with if you want to say enjoy yourself or have a good time, this is one verb that conveys that idea, divertirse. Literally, you divert yourself. But, in English, if you translate it literally, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah. Comer means to eat. But if somebody uses it reflexively, they're not eating themselves. Yeah. It's not like putting it on, but comerse means to gobble something up, to eat it really fast, to eat your food super, super fast. Yeah. Preguntarse literally is to ask a question of yourself, which means you're wondering about it. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, this particular slide in the file shows you that some verbs are going to be reflexive, and I'll resend this whole list of verbs. Get comfortable with being a little uncomfortable. These kind of verbs here, like you don't graduate yourself. When you retire, is jubilarse. It's just reflexive. Some just are reflexive, and they won't necessarily have this meaning of I call myself or I put something on myself. ¿Entienden? Understand?
So if I tell my child that we're getting late, eat your food faster. So am I going to say comerse rápido?
Ah, qué buena pregunta. What a good question. You do hear grandmas and moms saying, not even to little kids, but to everybody, yeah? Comete, eat it up. Meaning,
Yeah.
let's go, kids. You're moving too slowly, you children. Comete, eat it up. Yeah. Cómanse, hurry up and eat. Yeah. That will happen. Bien. Okay.
It's conjugated, right?
Yeah, but some of those are conjugated as commands and not as present tense. So don't worry too much about
Don't go
that
there.
yet. Yeah. So, these are kind of some examples, and you'll see the examples of the ones that don't really have that feel of I do the action and I also receive it. These examples are going to be the last two sets of files. So you'll know which ones are they don't follow that nice grammar explanation idea, these two. Bien? Okay. Unos ejemplos. So let's look at some examples. See? El hombre se sienta con su perro. The man sits down with his doggy, yeah? La mujer se levanta de su escritorio. She gets up out of her desk. She's got one of those standing desks, yeah? So every once in a while, you've got one of those smartwatches that tells you start moving, get up, move around, see? La mujer se levanta, se levanta. She does it. El hombre se sienta. He sits down. La niña se despierta. The little girl wakes up. This is interesting. Se despierta. She wakes up on her own, right? Mom or dad did not walk in there to shake her shoulders in bed and wake her, yeah? That action of mom or dad walking in and shaking her shoulders to wake her up, that is just despertar with no se.
No se.
But if the kid wakes up by themselves, it's se despierta. ¿Entienden? Understand?
It's reflective.
Okay. Ferris Bueller se ducha. Una película famosa, famous movie. Ferris Bueller se ducha. Se ducha, take a shower. And ducharse is always reflexive. You don't have to worry about that one. It's never used without the reflexive. I've never heard anybody ever use it that way. Because how often do you, well, yeah, you don't. Maybe with a little kid, but you don't. Some verbs kind of change in meaning. Caer means to fall. Caerse is to fall down. Here's how the meaning changes a little bit. El hombre se cae. Yeah? Ir means to go. Irse is kind of like go away or take off. Yeah? So you'll often hear even this very basic verb of ir used as a reflexive. Las personas se van. These people, they're taking off. They're going away. Yeah. We don't really use the word away. We make that verb ir reflexive to say go away, take off, get out. Yeah. People getting out. Las personas se van. Se van. They're out of here. They're out of here. Se van. Se van porque viven en una zona de guerra. These people are taking off because they live in a war zone. They're getting out of there. Se van. Yeah. I'm not talking about where they're going to. Yeah. I'm talking about they're just getting out. Se van. Irse changes that meaning a little bit. Okay, you begin to understand. Many times people will ask this question when they don't understand what you meant. ¿A qué te refieres? What do you mean? What do you mean? ¿A qué te refieres? Yeah, ¿a qué te refieres? What do you mean? Yeah. That winds up being a reflexive verb. ¿A qué te refieres? And then we go back to, this is the very traditional idea of doing something to your body. Ella se pone una camisa blanca. She puts
on a white shirt.
a white shirt on herself. Yeah. She's putting it on her body. She's not hanging it in the closet. She's putting it on. Se pone, se pone. But it's got to be se pone. If it's just pone, if it were just pone without the se, somebody would think she's hanging it up somewhere or laying it over a chair or laying it on the bed. right? Se pone means she's putting it on herself.
Mm.
See? This verb, to stay. Well, you don't stay yourself, but it's just reflexive. Quedarse, to stay in a place, to remain there. Yeah? Ellos se quedan en el Hotel Hilton. They're staying at the Hilton Hotel. Okay? Bien? Here we have a traditional reflexive of quitarse. Just as ponerse is to put something on your body, quitarse is to take something off your body. See? Quitar by itself means to take something away. Okay? But quitarse is the opposite of ponerse. Quitarse is to take it off. Ella se quita los zapatos. She takes off her shoes. Bien? Okay? So part of the issue with reflexives is just getting used to what a reflexive means. I'll send you that whole set so you can see all those examples. Again, I'll send them in the email. Okay? Bien?
Bien.
Okay. Vale. Bueno. Now, ahora, let's move on a little bit. You also have this video to watch, which was a harder level video. Yeah? Ah. You may have had some questions there. I gave you, in addition to that video, a list of some of the vocabulary he used. And one thing to notice is that he had a mixture of some verbs being reflexive, but some not being reflexive. Yeah. And they mix and, well, they don't mix and match. We mix regular verbs, no pronoun, with reflexive verbs, depending on what we need. That's all you can say. But here are some of the reflexive he used, some of the reflexives. Dedicarse, to dedicate oneself. See, a literal translation, that sounds weird in English, but dedicarse is often used to ask, what do you do for a living? Yeah. It's often phrased this way. A qué te dedicas? ¿A qué te dedicas? And the te dedicas, te with a to verb, dedicas. What do you do? Okay. Presentarse, to introduce yourself. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of traditional reflexive. You heard llamarse. Somebody is called. Their name is. Preocuparse, to get worried, to be worried about something. Yeah, preocuparse. Cansarse, to get tired. Sometimes reflexives have this idea of the English idea of get in a certain state. Get tired, cansarse. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Sí.
In his film, for some reason, I heard getting tired a lot. Was it a lot? Was I imagining that?
You did hear that a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
And think about it a little bit. I'm going to write this next to the notes. You may hear that idea of tired expressed with two different kinds of structures, or maybe even three different kinds of structures. So let me show you how the little words, depending on how you combine them, how that idea of tired is the same, but it's expressed in three little different ways. Three little different ways. I'm going to show you the three little different ways. Here's the way people learn the very first way, because it's the easiest. Estoy cansado, or estoy cansada if you're a woman talking about yourself, right? Estoy cansado, estoy cansada. See? I am, there's a literal am, estoy cansada. And cansado there is not a verb. It's a description, right? But you can see that the core, the middle of that word cansado, sure looks a lot like cansarse. So they share a root. Yeah. Cansarse is a verb, but cansado is not a verb. The estoy part is the verb, and the cansado is a description. So the description word has a different kind of ending to that word that tells you, this is now a description. It's not a verb, but it carries that idea of tiredness, right? Okay, so estoy cansado, I am tired. You may also hear people say, me canso. I get tired. That idea of get tired. Yeah. That idea of get is what is conveyed by the reflexive get. See? Me canso. I get tired. Okay, let me give un ejemplo. Me canso cuando corro y hace mucho calor. Me canso cuando corro
Run
y hace mucho calor.
very much. Okay.
I get tired when I run and it's really hot.
Mhm.
Okay. So, but now we're using it as a reflexive verb, me canso. And I've got to use the me canso. Here's yet another but different way that you may hear this idea of cansar, but not with estoy and not as a reflexive, but we're going to tweak this. What if I want to say, not I get tired, but, the heat, this heat really, it tires me out, right? This heat is wearing me out. Here's how you're going to hear it. You'll still have a me because it's happening to me. Yeah. Me cansa el calor. ¿Por qué? Porque me cansa and not me canso. Me canso means I'm getting tired. I myself am getting tired and I'm feeling the effect. This tells me the heat is tiring me out. The verb does not match the pronoun. And that means this thing here, el calor, is what's doing the action of tiring. The heat is wearing you down. Me cansa el calor. We're conjugating that verb cansar, to tire, for calor, heat. Because the heat is doing a job. The job that heat is doing is it's making you feel lousy. Yeah. It's doing that action of cansa. But who's on the receiving end? I'm on the receiving end. Here, I'm doing something and I'm feeling the effect myself. Right? Me canso cuando corro. I get tired when I run. This is the heat is beating down on me. It's doing the action. Me cansa el calor. This heat is wearing me out. So this is just to show you when you hear people doing storytelling, be aware that a true reflexive will mean these two items have to match up. I'm doing the action of being worn out and I'm feeling the effect of it as well. If the verb and the pronoun don't match up, it means somebody is doing this action, and the me part will mean they're doing it to me. I'm on the receiving end. In this case, the heat, the weather itself is what's doing the action of wearing me down. ¿Entienden?
Sí.
So these just be aware. Do I expect you to be able to say all of these right away? No, that's going to take some time. But do know that that core idea of cansar could be expressed in different ways. So the reason I'm showing you this is when you have a video like you had with the tour of Londres, el recorrido de Londres, the tour of London, you may hear him combining different ways of expressing this idea of tired. And even if you cannot say all of these that are highlighted right now in blue, you should be able to connect that, oh, he's talking about getting worn out. See? You should be able to get the main idea, even if you don't understand that these two don't match in form. Ooh, but these two do match. You're still getting the main idea of people getting worn out. ¿Me entienden? Understand?
Sí.
Okay, vale. So, para que sepan. So, you're Cindy, sí, dime.
One more question.
Sí, sí.
I noticed when I putting the Spanish on, it slows my brain down to see it in writing.
Ah.
I can keep up with him and understand what he's saying if I listen to him. But once I turn that writing on and try to read it along with it.
You do what works for you.
Okay.
Some people really feel they need that as kind of a crutch.
Okay.
And by the way, those subtitles are not always 100% correct. They are AI generated. So I would say in a bad situation, I have seen bad, well, not bad videos, but videos where the AI doesn't really pick up, and it may be 75 or 80% correct, but it has lots of little mistakes.
Okay. Well, it just, I'm happy that I can keep up with his and get the general idea.
Sí, claro.
Because he goes fast, but I get the general idea of everything he says.
And when you listen to a video like that, with Juan, you are going for the idea of, I get the main idea of what he's talking about.
See,
your goal should not be to understand every single little isolated word. That will make you muy cansado, very tired. So go for the big idea. And those kind of videos, often you have to listen maybe 3 times. Realistically, that is a realistic expectation. Congratulations, you're normal. Eres normal. Bravo. Bravo.
El Juan.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and his emphasis there. And everything is always a little tongue in cheek. It's a little, yeah. He is not serious 100% ever in any of his videos. Well, it's very seldom. Okay, so here are the things that you heard. You heard vestirse, get dressed. You heard levantarse, to get up. Acostarse, go to bed. Ponerse, to put something on. Oh, he had that silly underwear on his head, right? Nobody cares if you put underwear on top of your head in London. Yeah. And even sentirse, to feel an emotion. You feel that, and then you have you're left with you're left with that hangover thing of how that feeling affects you. Yeah, sentirse, to feel an emotion, is even reflexive. See? So here were all the reflexives that he mixed in with other verbs that were not reflexive at all. Okay? Okay? Vale? So that was the point there. But following the main idea was what we wanted to go for with that. Okay. Vale. Now we're coming to the hard part. Para que sepan, so you know. Here is a picture. Here is a picture of the items that I'm going to ask you to pick up in the chat screen very, very soon. I'm going to make these a little bigger size so you can see them. Boom, 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 boom. Bien. This yellow one, en amarillo, la pregunta en el papelito, on the little page. These are like sticky notes, ¿sí? La pregunta en el papelito amarillo. These are not really questions. They're just saying, talk about something. You may need a reflexive verb. You may not need a reflexive verb. So we're going to do this one together. And these are all going to be talking about habla de una acción, talk about an action, talk about an action, talk about an action, talk about an action. Okay. So you're going to be talking only about yourself with only yo verbs. Well, unless you want to change it to a we, or you want to change it to your husband or wife, you could do that. But habla de una acción. We're going to talk about the yellow one now. We're going to do it together as a model of what you will do, hopefully in some small group, a little bit. Okay. Habla de una acción que haces cada mañana. Talk about an action you do every morning. This doesn't have to be a book. Just talk about one or two actions, okay? You might need a reflexive verb. You might not. You might not. Cada mañana, every morning. Okay. I'm going to pick two actions. I'm going to pick one that's reflexive, one that's not. And you can do whatever works for you. Bien? So we'll do that as an example. Por ejemplo, hablas de una acción que haces cada mañana. Me levanto muy temprano. Me levanto muy temprano con las mascotas. I wake up really early with the pets. Me levanto. Reflexivo. Y preparo una taza de café. Y preparo una taza de café. And I fix a
Cup of coffee.
cup of coffee. The preparo is not reflexive, but the me levanto is. ¿Entienden?
Sí.
Okay. Otro ejemplo. Let's see some other examples you might think about with a thing you do every morning. Un ejemplo. De ustedes, before I send you out into rooms.
Oh. Me ducho.
Me ducho. I take a shower. Perfecto. That's it. No books. Okay. No book of 17 different things that you do every morning. Yeah. Una acción, one action. Okay. Segunda acción, something else.
Me despierto y hago mi cama.
Hago la cama. Hago la cama. I make the bed. Bien. That one's not reflexive. Okay. Bien. Otro ejemplo. Another example.
Me cepillo los dientes.
Me cepillo los dientes. Me cepillo happens to be a reflexive because I brush and I am not brushing lint off of my shirt. I am brushing a part of my body, my teeth. Me cepillo los dientes. Sí, me cepillo los dientes. That me cepillo is what people are going to expect to hear. Bien? They're going to expect to hear the me working with the cepillo. That's a reflexive action. Okay, ¿entienden? ¿Entienden? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Here's our big experiment. And if it flops, and we all come back. You're going to look at the other little sticky posts and the other colors. Oh, actually, I'll put this back up so that I make sure that you all know what those are asking you to do. Habla de una acción que haces solamente una vez o dos veces al día. Talk about something you do only once or twice during the day. Instead of every morning, something you do once or twice a day, ¿ok? Habla de una acción que haces con otras personas. Talk about an action you do with other people. En tu casa, in your house, o en tu barrio, or in your city or town, ¿sí? Habla de una acción que haces una vez a la semana. Something you do once a week. O de vez en cuando, or once in a while. But not every single day. And you can pick any verb you want, whether it's reflexive or not reflexive. No importa, doesn't matter. Okay? Bien? And the last one's here in rosa, on this pink one here. Habla de una acción que haces. Talk about an action that you do solamente en ocasiones especiales. Just special occasions. Porque es un momento especial, because it's a special moment. ¿Sí? Bien? Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop the share just so that you know what you're going to do. I am going to put in the chat box.
Hey, this is Sam. I have a question.
Sí, sí,
Are you
sí.
going to send these? Are you going to send these items
I
in
am.
your notes of the class? Okay.
I am indeed. And I'm going to show you
Good, then I'll
how.
work on them this
Here's the
week.
experimental
work on them
part,
this-
guys, and this may flop or this may work. Here is the link to those same exact questions. Now, Cindy, this may not work for you. Don't know. It's an experiment. If it's don't know, yeah.
Está bien.
Here's where it's hard. So these are going to come in like 2 or 3 separate bubbles. So here is the link. When you click on that, you're actually going to get that file right away on your computer. Okay.
Okay.
That's going to come right away so that you know that little link is a real link. Here comes the next set of directions. And oh my God, my daughter wrote this. I said it's too long, but that little link is going to open up those questions in your browser of your computer. Okay.
Where's it coming?
Okay. Oops. And we've got to do DOO.
Oh, there
Pardon
it
me.
is.
So
Okay.
here's what I'm going to tell you guys. Generally, you are going to have 2 screens running on your computer. Once you bring up that file of those same questions, they're going to pop up on a separate window outside of Zoom. Okay. You're going to open that question link and have those questions sitting on one side of your screen and your Zoom browser on the other. Some of you will know how to do that. If you don't know how to do that, don't panic. Yeah. This is my workaround since I cannot send things into the Zoom room. So here's the last step. If you can have 2 screens running, one with your Zoom screen so you can see your Zoom room, and one with this little link that you clicked on to get the questions, you'll be able to see the little questions and then talk with people in your Zoom room. If this fails, if you cannot do this, leave the Zoom room and come back to me. And the way you leave,
Can we try it now?
we're going to try it.
Okay.
We're going to try it, but you needed to
Yes.
all have that link and be
Yeah.
able to get into that window first. Okay.
So I have a question before we start. This is Sam. Can I do this as a homework assignment during the week?
Perdón,
Can I do this as a homework assignment?
you could
during
do this as
week?
a homework. Should we do that?
That would be better for me.
It would be better for you. Okay. Okay.
I like that. too.
Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you feel more comfortable? Shall we let's do some of these together then, instead of doing the breakout room for today. It sounds like this will probably be uncomfortable for some of you, yeah?
Will.
Okay. Okay. Let me show you something. I am going to do a share screen. Maybe we should look at today as a
Let's see it.
preview. Here's what I'm going to tell you
Let's
guys.
try it.
In your Zoom rooms, when you click on the link, and I'm going to see my little sticky notes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Ideally, this is what would happen, where you can move your sticky notes around, but still in another part of your screen. And this does not allow me to move it, but on your screen, you probably would be able to move it so that you can see both your sticky note questions from the link you clicked on. The link will do this part here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
try.
you would have it alongside your Zoom room with all the faces of everybody. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes.
And maybe we'll try that next week, but we'll do the
about that?
sticky notes today all together. Does that make sense? Cindy?
Marilyn, I clicked on it and it says you need permission. Ask the owner for access or switch
Oh,
out
okay.
with permission.
And me too. I had the same thing. I couldn't
Okay.
get on. It says I need
Yet,
permission.
yet another.
And it disconnected me totally
Okay.
from the Zoom.
Oh,
Should we all
you know what?
try it? See if
let's abandon this for now.
Okay.
I need to, this is the funny ways that Zoom is not cooperating because my operating system is different. Okay.
Okay.
We'll do it next week. I'll make sure that the permissions come on. I know what that problem is talking about. We'll do these together.
Okay.
Okay. Bien?
Yeah.
Okay. Bugs I need to work out of my system. Perdón.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, so let's do these together then. Sorry, I'm not sending you off into smaller rooms today. I'm going to make these bigger. Okay. Aha. You combine any action that works for you, whether it is yes reflexive or no not reflexive. We're going to look, vamos a ver aquí el papelito, our little sticky note, el papelito ¿de qué color es? Es beige. Habla de una acción que haces una vez al día, once a day, una vez al día. Okay, ideas con ustedes. I'll cook up some new ideas for you guys and you'll get it in the email for next week for homework. See? Okay.
once a week. I mean, once a week. Which one are we doing?
Once a day.
Once a day.
Una vez al día. Una vez al día.
Yo estudio el español una vez cada día.
Cada día. Perfecto. Bien. Vale. Bueno. ¿Qué más?
Yo throw away the basura.
Bien. Una vez al día.
Sí.
Perfecto. Bueno, sí. Preparo una comida principal, una comida grande para toda la familia una vez al día.
Sí, preparando.
Cocinando, sí. Cocino una comida muy grande para todos en la casa una vez al día. Bien.
Sí.
¿Qué más? What other things might you do only once a day?
Can we lie?
Yo
Sí.
sé, yo me,
No, no.
maquillarse.
Me maquillo.
Sí.
Me maquillo una vez al día. I put on makeup once a day. Perfecto. Pero reflexivo. because you're
Me.
taking makeup up and putting it on yourself. Eso es,
Ujú.
¿sí? Bien, perfecto. Okay, vale. Bueno, let's move on to a different one. En violeta, el color violeta, this purple color here. Habla de una acción que haces con otras personas, something you do with other people. Algo que haces con otra persona.
Go for a walk con mi amiga.
Con mi amiga.
Sí, ok. Camino con mi amigo. Paseo, I take a walk. Paseo
Paseo.
con mi amiga. Bien, perfecto. I'm going to put a little sticky note in here with that. Paseo con mi amiga. Why is that making that so huge?
What does paseo mean?
Paseo, take a stroll. That's leisurely. It could be camino. It's just as good. That gets across the same idea. Camino. Camino con mi amiga. ¿Sí? Camino con mi amiga. Muy bien.
Ujú.
Paseo con mi amiga. I take a stroll. It has a more leisurely feel to it as all. Bien. Ok.
Sí.
Perfecto. Algo más.
Desayuno con mi esposo.
Perfecto. Desayuno con mi esposo. Desayuno con mi esposo. I eat breakfast with my husband. Perfecto. Muy bien. Ok. Con otra persona. Something you do with somebody else.
Mm. Yo juego el pickleball
Juega al
con
pickleball
amigos.
con mis amigos. Perfecto, perfecto. Muy bien, muy bien, excelente. Ok, adelante, adelante. Let's take el papelito de verde, el papelito verde. Our little green sticky here. Habla de una acción que haces una vez a la semana o de vez en cuando. De vez en cuando es from time to time. ¿Sí? Cada día no. Una vez a la semana o de vez en cuando. Yo, por ejemplo, sí, monto en bicicleta con una amiga una vez a la semana. Monto en bicicleta con mi amiga una vez a la semana. Bien? I ride a bike with my friend one time a week.
Hablando con mi hijo on telephone.
Hablo con, sí, hablo con, and then you insert the person's name. Mi hijo, mi hermana, mi prima, my cousin, mi primo, así. Perfecto, perfecto. Muy bien. Otra cosa, another thing.
Voy a la iglesia los domingos.
Voy a la iglesia los domingos. If you go to a church or a synagogue or wherever, some house of worship, sí, voy a la iglesia. ¿Sí? Una vez, ok, a la semana. Una vez a la semana. Perfecto. Bueno,
Okay.
perfecto. 3 minutos, 3 minutes. So let's give us some time. El papelito de color rosa, our little rose colored papelito, our little stick action, little stick it note. Sticky note. Habla de una acción que haces. Talk about an action that you do. Solamente en ocasiones especiales. Porque es un momento especial. Por ejemplo, me pongo un vestido elegante.
Sí.
Todos los días no. ¿Sí? Para ir a un concierto. por ejemplo.
Ah,
Me pongo un vestido elegante, ¿sí? Cuando voy a un concierto, cuando voy al ballet. ¿Bien? Algo.
I visit my niño on their birthday.
Otra vez, no te oigo muy bien. I'm not hearing you too well.
You visit my niño for
Sí.
hijo on his birthday.
Visito a mi hijo, a mi hija, ¿sí? Para su cumpleaños, for the birthday.
Yes.
Para su cumpleaños. Sí. Visito a mi hijo para su cumpleaños, ¿sí? Ok, vale. No me despierto, no me despierto temprano. 2 o 3 veces al año. 2 or 3 times a year. I don't get up early. Alguien en la casa, somebody in the house, otra persona en la casa cuida a los animales y yo no me despierto muy temprano. Como por ejemplo, el Día de las Madres, Mother's Day, el Día de las Madres, otra persona cuida a los animales. Somebody else takes care of the animals. Y no me despierto muy temprano. ¿Entienden?
sí.
¿Entienden? Sí, bien. Okay. We're coming up right at to 11 o'clock hours. So here's what we're going to do. We had kind of I won't say a big fail, a mini fail on my share, but we'll try to get this worked out. What I will do is I am going to pull up a different set of sticky questions. Sam, gracias por su recomendación. Thank you for your recommendation. What I'm going to do is in the email for the email that you get later in the day today, you're going to get in your homework, again, a set of sticky notes just like these. And I want you to prepare something to talk about, and you'll have full instructions. So you'll be able to save that right away into your computer, see? And to think about it all week. And rather than talking off the top of your head, right? Feel like you kind of put on the spot a little bit, you'll have a chance to prepare some ideas to talk about in smaller groups. Does that make sense? See? Okay. So you'll have all those ahead of time. I will put them on a share screen, but I would say you'll want to save that little link with the questions in your computer so you can pull them up later when we do have class. I think that makes sense too. See? Vale? Bien. Okay. I'm also going to give you yet another video for just listening for a story. And you're going to hear some reflexive verbs and some not reflexive verbs. They're going to be all mixed up. Yeah, see?
Good.
You're going to get the file I showed you on the reflexives once again. I sent it to you once, but I'm going to send it again. You'll get a new set of questions to prepare for small group talk. And you'll get a new video to watch. 3 things. See?
Great.
Okay, vale, sí. ¿Tiene sentido? Make sense?
It does.
Sí, tiene sentido.
Magnifico. Hopefully they'll get my share during breakout rooms fixed, but I cannot count on them doing that for me like super fast because I'm like not a super special person to that. No soy una para los empleados en la compañía Zoom, for people at the Zoom company, ¿sí? Para los empleados, for employees, para los empleados de Zoom, yo no soy una persona especial. mis problemas no son problemas especiales para los empleados de Zoom, porque tienen millones y millones y millones de clientes. ¿Sí? Y los millones de clientes también ellos tienen problemas. ¿Sí? Y yo la solita única persona con un problema, no, nada. Okay, so
To us, you are important.
yeah, they'll get to me when they get to me is what I have to keep that así, tener en mente, have to keep that in mind. Okay, vale, ¿sí? Bien, todo bien, all good?
Está bien.
Perfecto, perfecto. Okay. Bueno, eso es todo. That's it. Eso es todo. Bien. Entonces nos vemos la semana que viene. We'll see you next week. ¿Sí?
Sí.
Y espero que tengan muy buena
Gracias.
semana. I hope you have a really good week.
You too.
Igualmente.
Gracias, muchísimas gracias. Sí, y cuídense.